Okay, so we should be live on all the various Facebook channels, and can I just check that you can hear me okay?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Super stuff. So first off, we know it's Friday again, and it's the first Friday of the month, which means that it's non-farm payroll. So at 1:30, so in 5.5 hours, markets can go a bit wacky, only for a short period of time. So yeah, so 1:30 UK time, whatever time that is, wherever you are in the world. Basically, the figures come out for the non-farm payroll, and you'll get sudden movements in prices on, certainly on the US dollar pairs. So you suddenly, you could be looking at it and you can literally wait until the clock strikes at 1:30, and you will see that all of a sudden the price will move one way and then suddenly it will move another way. And usually there's fairly big moves, and then it settles down afterwards. Although there have been times where it's only moved about 20 or 30 pips. So we typically suggest to those who are new to trading and new to this whole experience, don't bother trading on a Friday, because even though the whole thing happens at 1:30 UK time, it can affect market activity up until that time as well. So basically, just if you're wanting to trade with caution, but we're going to look at pairs that probably aren't US dollar related this morning. So yeah, there are pros and cons to NFP. There is in fact a group of traders called I think they're called the 12 Days of Christmas. I can't remember how I came across them, but they basically only trade one day a month, which is non-farm payroll, the first Friday of every month. That would typically first Friday of every month. And there's a way of setting it up that you can watch the candles and the previous sort of 15-minute candles, whatever. You can set sort of a 50% line on the previous 15-minute candle, and then set a sell limit and a buy limit and all that sort of thing. It's only for those who are really, they really know what they're doing. They literally just make so much money on that one day that they don't need to trade the rest of the time. So it's 12 days of Christmas, because it's just obviously the one day a month, 12 days of the year. So yeah, a bit wacky. But for those who are new to trading, certainly don't jump in and try it out. I've traded. I did say traded, didn't I? NFP previously, and I did it slightly differently. Sort of wait for the move to happen, and then sometimes wait for it to settle down and get the price move back, because you get a sudden spike up or down, and then when it gets to a certain level, then trade in the opposite direction. But then sometimes that's caught me out, because price has spiked and then it stayed up there. So yeah, not the best way to do it. So let's have a look at what we've got going on today. So obviously I've already said it's non-farm payroll, but let's go and check the news. So let's share screen and let's do this. Okay, so I hope you can see Forex Factory. Goodness sake. Fantastic. I'm assuming that's a yes. So as we can see here, 1:30, Canadian dollar, US dollar, red flag because of non-farm information. So up until then, it's fairly low impact. We've got in about 20 to 25 minutes, the pound with Halifax house price information. Then at 9 o'clock, Italian retail sales. And then afterwards is just Canadian dollar and US dollar at 8 o'clock this evening. So 1:30 is our big time, as I've already mentioned, and I think that's probably, yeah, that's the same on my FX book, but we've got some slight medium bits, so that's all around the 1:30 time anyway. Yeah, everything else is low impact and low to medium impact later. So yeah, it's just 1:30, but in the build up to NFP, probably don't trade an hour before or an hour after, but as I say, try and avoid the US pairs. So let's have a look at the harmonic scanner first, and let me just hide you guys out the way for a second. So this is the Australian dollar Japanese yen. It's on a crab. Okay, so this pattern here, excuse me, is the crab pattern. It's giving us a potential reversal. I've already had a quick look at this pair this morning, and where price is now. In fact, I'll just jump over to TradingView quickly just to show you. So this is the weekly time frame. Oh yeah, bit wacky, blocks and lines and stuff and nonsense. But so this orange line was a trend line that I'd drawn on previously for. So this is going back to 2014. But where price is currently, in fact, let's go down to the daily. Might be a bit easier. So we're around here at the moment, and price has not been up to that level since December 2019, and you can also see that around this sort of area here, it's a key sort of level of support and resistance as well. So just to be aware of that for now, because I think it also crops up, back here as well. So let's zoom in a bit further. 4 hours. So on the 4 hour, I've got these green trend lines here. So we've got what's known as a rising wedge forming here. So what you may find, let's drop down to the hour, is where we're at now. You may find price coming down to this lower trend line, moving up, bouncing around, and then may start coming down. Just to share how I've drawn that up, and if it's of any help to anyone else. If we go down to the 15-minute now, so it's actually at the moment sort of just bouncing up and down and not going below this area here. So we could still mark the chart up like we would normally for a 25 to life. Oh, and speaking of 25 to life, just before I do that, as a reminder, I don't know if you've seen that Robin and Johnny's session that was scheduled for 11 o'clock has been moved to 7 p.m. For those of you who may not be aware, that's what's happened there. Something's come up from this morning. So let's jump onto this. We're looking for 2 candles to the left, 2 candles to the right. So we've got those now. And let's just check that we've got enough pips in the move from C to D. Okay, so there's 96 pips there. The other thing is it hasn't quite hit the entry line. Let me just do that for a second. No, that didn't work. Just going to see if we can mute some of the. No, that's me. Where's participants gone?
Take the water inside writing.
Okay. Okay, folks. So if you want to unmute, if you want to comment or ask a question. So we've got approximately 100 pips in this move here from C to D. and really we're looking for 50% of the second candle furthest away from the D point, which at the moment, if this is our D candle here, this red one here, we're looking at this candle here, which is almost halfway down our move. This hasn't hit the entry line, as I've said already, but if we were to mark that up, I mean, that candle there is a bit of a challenge to even see, because it's not very deep in body. So let's just go through the process of marking it up anyway. So I've chosen the fib retracement line, fib retracement from this section here, going to the D point, and I'm going back towards, and I'm just going to do this by eye rather than try and measure out the 50% of that candle. I'm going to go change my settings. So we have a 0.25. Don't need. I'll change this one to a minus 0.75. Have that as a 1 and change that to red, and may even do 1.2 as well as a red. Get rid of those. Change that to green. This is just my preference. You can do it whichever colors suits your screen and your eyesight. Don't want the background, want the labels to the right and on top. Now you can extend the lines, which will take, as you can just see there, take the lines all the way across to the end, but sometimes it gets a bit confusing as you can't see the figures too easily there. So another alternative is to click onto coordinates. And because I started at the D point and moved down, price 1 is my furthest right. So we can now click on this bar here and move like so, rather than getting it all jumbled up over there. So what we're looking at is, this is for price to break, come down and break this candle, this black line here, which is our 0 line, and for it to then move up to this green line to get in for an entry. Now looking at this at the moment, it's just going sideways at the top here. So that's going to take quite a while until it comes down to hit this black line. We obviously need the candle to have broken through and to closed below this black line. So we haven't got anything there really to warrant a setup. But as I said, you know, with my markups on there, I think we're on a rising wedge, was maybe about 2/3 of the way through a rising wedge on that particular pair. So let's go and have a look at some of the other bits and see if there's anything a bit more exciting. US dollar, ooh, should we, shouldn't we? Let's have a look at CAD JPY to see if there's anything there. No, that's already made its move. These are quite old. Already done that one. Yeah, let's see if there's anything on the hour time frame. Okay, this is another US pair. Let's have a look at Euro Australian. That's already made its move. Why are you still on here? There we go. Already made its move. I don't think we're going to get a lot of excitement. So, in fact, tell you what, let's go on to vibrato then, see if we can pick some bits up from there. So British pound, Australian dollar. Okay, so we've just had Euro CAD come in 2 minutes ago. And we can see from here, there's been a move up. We've got 3 red candles in a row. We've got stochastic with the red above the blue and pointing down. There's quite a big gap there as well between the blue and red. This is calling out a buy at 1.53221, which is gone past now. So let's have a look and see if we can grab something from that. Because at the moment, really we may have missed that opportunity there, because obviously it's been an extreme here. We've had the SAR flip and the flat top candle, so it might be one to, it's calling for a buy, so it might be one to watch. So let's go and set things up on that. Was it Euro CAD? Yeah. Okay, so make sure on Heikin-Ashi candles. Let's chuck on our indicator, and why not chuck on our auto support as well. So on the 15-minute time frame, I know it was called on the 5 minutes. On the 15-minute time frame, we've had the BYOB down. In fact, this could well be worth getting into anyway, because on the 15-minute, we've had the BYOB down. So Euro CAD, let's go for it, because I think we've got room there to capture at least 10 pips. Yeah. Euro CAD then for a sell. Where's my phone gone? There it is. I should have had my phone ready. Okay, so I'm in that now. Yeah, we've got room certainly on the 15 minutes stochastic coming down. It doesn't mean necessarily that it's going to go all the way down, because you know, there are certain times where you can see in the past, or here, for example, it's come down and then gone back up again. Should hopefully be in profit, those of you who've entered. Some of you may have already been aware and entered already. So that's what we've got going on there. About roughly 3 pips in profit, I'm guessing. Let's just check on there. Yeah, that's been a decent break in that. Sorry, 2 seconds. Yeah, that should be right. If we can see here, obviously where this blue auto support line has come up for support resistance, this has been a sort of level of support here. Where's it going? So just here, these sort of candles have been bouncing around. So with this move down, it's going to take its time by the look of it. Back to Heikin-Ashi candles. There's not a lot of volume in there at the moment, but there may not be a lot of volume period today, because of until maybe 1:30. You'll see a lot of volume then. I think need a bit of patience on this one.
Rob, how come those two charts looks just so different? That one and the vibrato that you were looking at just a second ago.
Oh, sorry, this one. This is on the 5 minute
that's right,
time frame, and this is on the 15 minute at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only reason there. Good shout though. Thank you for that. I should have highlighted that maybe. Right. Sorry, I'm not concentrating, not giving any real information. So has anyone still in that? Still letting that run?
Yeah, I'm in profit now.
Yeah, I'm up 6.4 pips.
Thank you, because I'm stupidly I haven't got MT4 on this. This isn't my laptop, and I'm just based on my phone at the moment. So I'm having to do mental arithmetic in my head, which is just, you know, I can't remember the last time I did that.
Taxing.
Yeah. Okay.
About 8 pips now.
About 8 pips, is it? Okay, so hopefully we can get our 10 pips and then move on. Well, you know, by all means, if you want to chuck on the exit manager as well and let it run, but I'm not sure, just because of this level here, that it will necessarily go any further than that at the moment. Oh, sorry, let's have a little chat.
Rob,
Yes, hello.
did you call this off vibrator?
I did, yeah.
So on vibrator, it says it was a buy, yet you've gone for a sell.
That's correct. So when we're doing the BYOB strategy, we have, excuse me, we've got the Heikin-Ashi candles, we've got the looking for the SAR flip. I say SAR, some people refer to PSAR, so there's little dot, and we're also looking at the stochastic. Now, at the time that it was called, I think we already had a couple of candles on the go here. Yes, it's called as a buy, but what we're doing is we're looking at the stochastics in the extreme, which normally means that prices then start coming down. And yes, these are called as a buy, but sometimes it's basically saying there's going to be a volume burst on this currency pair. So don't necessarily take that on the easy pips. I think they take it on the strategy based at whatever it's called. That's what they're going in for, and they may well go into drawdown for, you know, for however many pips. I haven't had a look at the strategy for a while, and then for price to start going up. But because where we were currently on that particular pair with the stochastic had just been in the extremes, the lines are both pointing down. There's a fairly decent gap between the red and the blue lines. Plus, when we jumped onto trading view, we had our indicator with the BYOB down, and
Just got the 10 pips, Rob.
sorry,
Yeah.
Chris, say again.
I just got the 10 pips, just closed out.
Oh, fantastic.
Same here, just closed me out at 10 pips. Nice call.
Good stuff. Sorry to answer that question. Basically, even though vibrato will call it as a buy or a sell, when we're using the BYOB strategy and the indicator, we're not necessarily going with that trade direction that it's been called, because it may be that there will be a volume burst in that direction, either the buy or the sell. But as we're looking at it, the price was coming down, or due to be coming down. So that's why we went for a sell rather than a buy.
Did you do that on the 15 minutes or the 5?
I did that on the 15, but
so did we.
Yeah, it was originally called on the 5 minute on here on vibrato, but I'd looked at it on the 5 minute just to see, okay, because I think we had a couple of candles here already, and then because I think the stochastic was about that sort of area, maybe halfway, I thought I'll just have a look on the 15 minute just to make sure that we had the stochastic at the top there. And normally that means that you're going to get a nice run like that section there. It's not always the case, because as I sort of highlighted just now, you could sometimes have it come down and then turn and go back up again. But just to grab our 10 pips, which is all we're looking for really, that was in a good position for a sale on the 15 minute, and that well, on the 5 and 15 minute, and that yeah, supported that. So I'm glad you managed to get 10 pips on that. So what you can sometimes do, and I have done on a few occasions, is just stick with the pair, because okay, at the moment we seem to be doing all right with alerts coming through on vibrator, but sometimes there are periods of time where it doesn't give a call for a while, or the markets are a bit slow, or a bit you know, like today's non-farm payroll. I don't know if I've mentioned that already, but today's non-farm payroll, so maybe the markets are a bit cautious until 1:30. And so, yeah, you may not get a lot of activity, but if you were to stick on the same currency pair, come on, get out of the way, like EuroCAD, you can take advantage of the moves down and the moves up. And if you know, this section here, let's just highlight that for a second. This section here, you could get sort of ups and downs. Okay, you haven't got all the BYOB ups and downs alerts within that, but you've had a few there, a down and up, an up, a down, an up, and a down now. So you can grab some of that activity during that, you know, just looking at that one pair. This isn't ideal at the moment, as I said, because, you know, maybe markets are being a bit cautious, but yeah, that's what I sometimes do. I'll just channel trade if it's in a situation like that, and you can just even if you go and grab 3-4 pips out of a move. Yeah, one of the things I suppose let me jump onto. Oh, I hear another there, as if a trade has closed.
Yeah, I took a sneaky peek at. I went on to FX Blue,
Right.
and found that New Zealand and Australian dollar were at the opposite end in the relative strength value against the JPY.
Yeah.
Went to the trading view and saw that was being reflected in the movement on the chart, and then just went for a quick 5 to 10 trade buy on that on NZD.
Nice.
So hopefully that will work.
Sounds like you're doing all right. So that's and are you trying the down under BYB as well, Andrew, or you?
Well, I've glossed. I got the gist of it. I haven't actually looked at the watched the video, but I know what he's talking about, because I actually get up, you know, for an 8 o'clock Zoom, I actually get up at sort of, you know, 7.
Yeah.
And find that there's a lot of movement. And sometimes before I've even gone on at 8, I've made 10 or 2 times 10 pip movements profit, simply because the markets are actually doing something before even London opens up.
Yeah. And Chris, I've seen that you've been doing all right with the down under as well. But you're in the ideal time zone, aren't you? Because you're a couple of hours ahead of us, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm 2 hours ahead at the moment. I'm in Saudi, so it's ideal.
And so you're doing all right with that?
Yeah, fine. I did put it in the Discord chat, but this morning, what do we do? Just bear with me.
I saw quite a few people had posted in Discord this morning about getting results on the down under BYOB, but there was it GN? Somebody got into it a little bit too early or something, and it hit stop loss or something.
Yeah, I think so. But mine today was 13 on GN, 10 or 10.2 on GA. It didn't activate until late on EUR EUD, so I only had 2.5. It got to the 10 o'clock mark, or 8 o'clock mark, I should say. So I closed out.
Yeah.
So in total, it was 25.7 pips. So it's working a dream for me, this.
Nice. God, all this value. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah. I think I should be getting up at 6 really, sort of to catch all the proper moves.
Well, that's the thing.
Well, I'm in furlough, and I usually get up at 3. So 6 is not 6 is a lie-in.
Usually get up at 3. Blimey.
Yeah, no, I'm a delivery driver, so I have to be up in London for 5.
Oh
5:30. Wow. So you can do all your drops before the traffic arrives.
Yeah.
But I'm home by 2. So
that's perfect. Well, it's not perfect getting up at 3 in the morning, but yeah.
But you have to think about going to bed at 8.
Yeah, sure. Oh, well, that's. There was a guy that I was speaking to who was doing pretty much that. I can't remember what time he was starting work, but he was getting up early to, I think 5, 6 o'clock in the morning to get some of those early market moves before then going off to work. And it's one of those things that you've got to pick a time that that's convenient for you, and also something that you can trade consistently, because I didn't used to be that great at getting up early in the morning, but trading in the evening, you wouldn't have the same excitement in moves, but you could still grab 2 or 3 pips here, 5 pips there, 8 pips there, whatever it was, just a multiple of small little moves to build the account. But yeah, what I'm loving at the moment is seeing people get their results with the down under BYOB, the normal BYOB, the 25 to life, and obviously we've got Kevin coming on again this afternoon to do another bigger picture session, which I think a lot of people are grabbing a load of information, a load of value from that as well. And then obviously there's Paul. We'll just leave Paul to Paul. So yeah, that's going to be it for the rest of the day, I think, because there's not. I don't think Sarah's doing the crossover session. I don't think Sharon's doing the 2 o'clock session.
No, it's Friday. She's not doing.
Yeah, so she's not doing the mother. Yeah. So that'll be it until 7 o'clock when Robin and Johnny are doing the 25 to life beginners session. So sorry, I've just realised I'm waffling and not looking at other trades that are potentially out there for you guys. So in fact, is there anything that I've done this morning that anyone wants me to go over, or anyone needs any clarification, have got any questions or anything like that? Nope. Fantastic.
Rob, just a quick comment on the down under.
Yes.
I had some charts open, and I had 2 date feeds open, OANDA and FXCM.
Okay.
And I got BYOB signals at different times. So, and on one of them, I actually didn't get a signal. I won't go through which, but I suddenly realised that I was trying to compare why I made pips on some and not on others, and got stopped out on one. And I'm just trying to compare to the likes of Chris, for example, who just went through his trades.
Yeah.
And what I had set up on my chart was a mixture of data feeding OANDA and FXCM.
Right. Okay.
And I normally have FXCM just sitting on there. I don't ask me how I got OANDA up there, but I did. And I've just back tested, and they produced different results. So for me, I'm sticking with FXCM personally on the way forward.
Yeah.
But it might be worth looking at if you've got 4 charts open, and you may have different feeds.
Yeah, I was on FXCM as well, Kev, all four.
Oh, you were? Okay, so that's interesting because I was on Oanda for the majority, and I compared the two, and you're getting better results than me. And we're doing the same thing. So just a point, just check your charts that you're on the same data feed. It sounds like, but I'll leave it to you to test. FXCM seems to be the way to go to get your signals, more precise entry, and more consistency. But anyway.
Yeah, because I noticed there was mixed results this morning, so that could be why, yeah.
I think, Kevin, if you're in IC markets, I think FXCM is the one to be with anyway, because it's the one that's the nearest to IC markets.
Yeah, I've just got it. I'm just using TradingView. So, you have that choice in the top left when you type in, get the drop down box.
Yeah.
So I didn't even look at MT4. I was purely on TradingView. But,
yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is I was on TradingView using Oanda, but I mean, I'm actually with IC markets and the results were completely off. But as soon as you choose to went to FXCM with IC, because it's IC markets kind of equivalent, it was fine. So I'm with you with on FXCM.
Yeah, okay. I just thought I'd raise it just in case it's worth looking at anyway.
Yeah. No, definitely. Thank you, Kevin. That's there may be other people who weren't aware of that, and so once again, more valuable lessons brought to the table. Okay.
Sorry, Rob.
Hello.
I was in Euro Ord with FX, and I lost.
Euro Ord.
Yeah, there was a BYOB up. Any reason, do you think?
Let's have a look. Let's share screen again. Come on, so I'm waiting for the bar to go. Euro Ord. Which time frame were you looking at?
15.
On the 15-minute. Ah, okay. So I'm guessing that was on that candle there.
Yeah.
We talk about, right? Okay. Okay, we're looking at that. We've had the SAR flips. We've had the flat bottom candle, and the challenge there is that it was in the extreme. The stochastic was in the extreme, but I think in this particular case that has been some bad luck in that the price has sort of turned on that particular move there, and certainly on the 15-minute you would expect it to sort of start going up. But as you can see on the section before here, it started moving up, has got almost to the same level and come down again. However, we've got the moving average here, which you could see is it changes color, green when it's on a buy trend, red when it's on a sell trend, and that is still on a red. Let's see what's happening on the hour as well, just to see. Yeah, so okay, at the moment on the hour, that's the stochastic is reaching quite low. Sorry, I've got loads of lines all over this. Let me zoom in a bit. So we've got a bit of a sort of downward trend on that at the moment. I think you've been unfortunate where you've hit that on the 15-minute, and it's difficult because you have had the BYOB up.
Can I ask, is it when you get the BYOB up like that or the BYOB down, is it better sometimes just to wait for the next candle to get information?
Well, that's what I was just going to look to see what we had on the slightly earlier.
I've been caught out like that before as well, and I felt as though I should have waited for the next candle.
Yeah, well, especially when you're on the 15-minute, if you're waiting for the next candle on that, you're obviously then having to wait a full 15 minutes until the next candle forms. The challenge there is that if it is going in the direction that you want, then obviously you may have missed out on some sort of decent moves on that. What I would certainly recommend is when you're looking at the 15-minute, just drop down to the 5-minute as well, just to see. I mean, in this particular case here where you had the BYOB up on, was that 7:35? So what did we get on the 15-minute? What time was that? So 7:45. We got the BYB up on the 7:45 candle, and if we look at the 7:45 candle on here, we, in fact, the 5-minute was giving you the green MA, but if you'd have got in on the 7:35 candle where you get the signal there on the BYOB up, you may have got a little bit out of that, but I think unfortunately that was a case of unluckiness in that you've had the BYB up. As we've said a number of times before as well, don't trade based solely on the BYB up. Try and have a look at what's going on around that time frame, because as we've just looked on the 15-minute, it's a downward trend. It hasn't broken the trend line as yet.
I was just about to say it's very much a downward trend at 45 degrees, and I wouldn't have traded that.
Yeah.
I'd have waited till another.
I was doing it on
down.
Dave's trend lines, I think.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Say that again.
I put my trend lines on from what Dave says for the down under.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, so that was based on the down under BYOB. Okay, so in that case, because that's only up until 8 o'clock, isn't it? The down under BYOB. I confess I haven't watched the video in full yet. That's one of my things to do today.
Yeah, 6 a.m. till 8 a.m. and that's it. That's the cut-off, basically.
Yeah.
Because then at 8 a.m, of course, the London opens. So they've finished setting out their store, as Dave says.
Yeah.
And they're handing over, or they've handed over by that time.
Yeah. So sorry, Deborah. Were you aware of that element of the down under BYOB?
Yeah, I thought I'd just get in because it was around 7:45.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. No, I think unfortunately, I think unfortunately you've been
Casualty.
Yeah, exactly, a casualty of that. You've had the BYOB up, and then unfortunately, pretty much the next candle you start heading down again.
It's a bit bad luck, really.
Yeah, and as I say,
just my luck.
No, not your luck, just bad luck.
But yeah, overall, I mean, even looking at the 15-minute, I think if we looked at the hour as well, it's a general, it's a general downward trend at the moment. However, having said that, stochastic is approaching the bottom of the purple band on the hour, so there may be some move. So one to watch, because it might turn and test the trend line, possibly even break and retest. But yeah, I'd keep an eye on it for now, if you so wish. Okay, sorry, I've seen there's been some chat that I've missed. I apologise for that.
Thanks for your help.
No problem. Okay, conversation with Jane.
I think Rob, if obviously with the down under BYOB, if you get into a trade late on, i.e. as in 15 minutes before the end of that session, i.e. 15 minutes before 8 a.m, I think you've got to monitor that, and then if you're in profit a little bit, then just close it out, because you just don't know what will happen after
once 8 o'clock
that
kicks
8
in.
a.m.
Yeah, good call, Chris. I hope that helps others as well, because I think looking at that, as I say, I've still got to look at the BYOB, sorry, the down under BYOB videos, which I'm planning to do today. In fact, I've got loads of catching up to do today. But yeah, there's absolutely no harm at all in taking profit even at sort of 3 pips, as long as you've covered your broker spreads and things like that. As long as you're in profit by 2-3 pips, any profit is profit. So it doesn't matter too much. But yeah, don't let things run away with you, because you've got to protect your account. You've got to make sure that you're able to trade the next day. So yeah, great input from everyone there. Thank you for that. Sorry, I was starting to look at the chat, but it looks like it's the majority of stuff is people with questions and being answered by others. So thank you for that, people. So we were looking at vibrato to see if there's anything else on there. That was the pound Canadian dollar on the 15-minute. So that at the moment is another example of it's been called at a buy. Stochastic is in the extreme at the moment. We can't quite tell from there if red is above blue. So this may be one to also watch, because in fact let's do it now. GP CAD. It was on the 15, wasn't it? Yeah. Get off. Okay, so at the moment, 15-minute, yeah, we've just got the red above the blue here. So let's have a look where we're at. Look at the 5-minute. Okay, so yeah, we've had a bit of crossover on the 5-minute here. We've had another BYOB up, but because I know this is the auto support and resistance lines here, which would have only just been moved in relation to this one candle here. Okay, looks like the price is starting to turn on the 5-minute. Okay, we had a BYOB down on the 3-minute. 5-minute now, we want to go back to the 15-minute. So yeah, I think we're one to keep an eye out, because it looks like price is starting to tip over. It may only get to sort of this. Let me draw a line, be easier for you. That sort of level there, because of where we've got sort of a bit of upping and downing in there. So it may not move that far at the moment, but certainly one to keep an eye on, because I think if we were to draw a trend line, in fact, just from the bottom there, I'm going to do that on ordinary candles just to see. Yeah, so on ordinary candles, we've got price. We've got touch at the bottom there, 1, 2, 3, 4. Price has broken the trend there on the 5-minute. So it may well be looking to push up a bit to retest the trend and then come. So if it does push up, then it'd be great if we could get an opportunity for, if everything else matches in with the stochastic being an extreme and all that sort of thing, for that to come down, we could get a few pips on that. But I'm looking at the 15-minute. Yeah, you've got room for that to come down if that starts to turn. So yeah, that's another one to look out for. It's now 10 to 9. I know Paul's session is coming up at 9 as always. Does anyone have any other questions, comments, criticisms, any kind of feedback before we look to start wrapping things up?
Thanks, Rob.
No problem. So yeah, don't forget, so Paul's session at 9, Kevin's chucking out an additional session at 2 o'clock for the bigger picture. So looking at the head and shoulder stuff, and also sort of zooming out. I think I've said a number of times before, looking at the, comparing to Google Earth or Google Maps or something. If you start off out here and then zoom in to pick out your destination, That's what we're kind of doing with the charts here, the 5 minute zooming out to the 15 minute, to the hour, to the 4 hour, to the daily, all that sort of thing. You can start to see patterns a bit more easily on the larger time frames. Not that they don't occur on the lower time frames, but you're going to get more of an idea and more of a better move once it starts happening. Because if you're only looking at the smaller time frames, you're only going to get small numbers of pips normally. Okay.
Can I ask where the down under strategy information is? Is it in the units?
I'll have to yes, I'm fairly sure it is. What I'll do,
yeah, Rob, it's under David Kahn's.
yeah, because he's got a new unit now, hasn't he?
And there's a step-by-step guide in the files as well.
Okay,
Fantastic.
great. Thank you.
It's quite far down in the units. I think it's something like 22.
That's fine. I'll find it. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I think because obviously it will have only recently been added as well. So
I must watch that as well.
yeah,
That's set up for Monday.
yes. So I was just having a quick look at euro US dollar as well. This is on the 5 minute. The brass has called it as a sell, but as we've just discussed, stochastics in the extreme at the bottom here. We haven't got the SAR flip, so let's have a quick look at that on. Do you know what? I didn't write that down. GBP CAD. Let me just make a note of that. GBP CAD. And that's on the 15 minute. Forgotten what it was. Euro USD on the 5 minute. Euro USD.
Looks more like it would be a buy, because it's done all its
Yeah.
selling.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. We've got the stochastic down here at the stream, but we've just had another BYOB down.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Here.
Something must have happened against.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. It is just giving.
It's the main reason you got to change your candles on the trading view.
Of course, I changed it, but yeah, thank you.
And it should go.
Yes, there we go. So it's up there. So Euro USD, I've got a line here, trend line, going up this way as well. So yeah, it's called as a sell, and it could still be a sell, even though there's stochastics in the extreme. Because what was the pair yesterday?
Yesterday.
No, I was thinking that there was a pair I was looking at, and basically it reached the extreme, and then just snaked along. I think it was the top for a long time. It literally just not even like that. It was almost flat across the top here. So waiting for it to make its move down was taking forever. But yeah, we may get the same here. We may get it starting to snake along at the bottom here before it starts to move up. But I think it may well be heading for, okay, we've got these auto support and resistance lines here. These blue ones, which normally means it's support at underneath the floor. And those will move once price starts coming down. But we've also got this trend line, which will be from, if I go out to the hour, it's going to be from out there somewhere. So yeah, so I've got a trend line up there which will go quite a way back. So that's potentially, if it continues coming down, that is potentially going to give you a decent number of pips there, but it's Euro USD, so just be very cautious, because obviously NFP today at 1:30. Right, it's 8:57. Folks, I think I'm going to have to thank you for your time. I hope that was of benefit. I know we only caught the 10 pips. Some people caught some more elsewhere as well. So Paul's session will be kicking off in 3 minutes. I'll let you go and grab a drink, or
Cup of tea.
Cup of tea, or a comfort break, and then jump onto Paul's session.
Cheers,
And
Rob.
have a fantastic weekend, everyone.
Cheers, Rob.
Cheers,
See you
Rob.
later.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Rob.
Bye.
Cheers, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, thanks, Rob.